Hi, my name is Pavel Osminin, and I'm a senior technical artist at Slipgate Ironworks studio. Slipgate Ironworks is a Danish video game developer based in Aalborg, and as a technical artist, I'm responsible for bridging the gap between art and technology. I work closely with artists, designers, and programmers to ensure that the game visual elements are not only visually stunning but also technically sound. My role involves developing tools and workflows that streamline the art production process, optimizing game performance, and ensuring that the game's visual quality is consistent across all platforms. At Slipgate Ironworks, we are committed to creating immersive gaming experience that push boundaries of what's possible. Our team is made up of passionate and talented individuals who are dedicated to delivering high-quality games that resonates with players around the world. We do
Pavel,
games that we want to play ourselves.
Pavel, switching the slides because we can only see the same slide.
Oh, sorry. Yes, exactly. Thank you. This is a one slide though. Okay, so the Sleepgate we value diversity, and for us, diversity in studio means diversity of thoughts and opinions. They benefits to our projects. Teamwork is an essential aspect of game development. It is a collaborative effort that involves different professionals with varying skills and expertise working together to achieve a common goal. Every team member has a significant impact on the project, and their contribution are vital to the success of the game. And currently, we are in the process of building the organization, and every team member has a huge impact. And just as a Danish company, Slipgate inherits the work culture with an informal and flat. Everyone can talk to everyone. All opinions are listened and are heard. Assignments are developed in collaboration with your colleagues, and you are free to contribute with your own ideas and opinions. However, you are expected to carry out your own individual tasks, and you have responsibility to deliver assignments on time. So, before we dive in the architectural generation topic, I want to say a few words about the role of technical artists in a team of game developers. Technical artists are bridge between art and technology, combining their artistic skills with a deep understanding of the technical aspects involved in creating visual content. Technical artists possess a diverse skill set that typically includes knowledge of art production pipelines, 3D modeling and animation, shader creation, scripting, and proficiency with various software tools. They collaborate closely with artists, designers, and programmers to find solutions to complex technical challenges. And technical artists help optimize and streamline the whole art production process, ensuring that assets are efficiently created, integrated, and displayed in final product. They also play a vital role in the problem solving and troubleshooting visual issues such as optimizing performance, addressing compatibility issues, and maintaining artistic consistency across different platforms or devices. In summary, technical artists are responsible for integrating artistic assets into the game engine or software platform, troubleshooting and resolving visual issues or technical challenges that arise during the production process, optimizing and streamlining the art production process, ensuring that assets are efficiently created, integrated, and displayed in the final product, and maintaining artistic consistency across different platforms or devices. So, as a technical artist, I use many tools to make the work done. Here are them. First of all, Unreal Engine, probably the most popular game development tool in the world nowadays. Previously, I had extensive Unity experience, and several years ago, due to a number of reasons, I switched to Unreal, and I'm absolutely love this engine. It gives me all the freedom I can have as an artist. Second, Blender. And first of all, it's free. I had experience working with 3D Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, and they are awesome tools also. But I chose Blender because the community and its development base. And when I work with Blender, I feel that I have all new features and concepts that are industry right now. I use Blender for all 3D work I do, including modeling, UV layout, texturing, and animation. There are a lot of tools made by the community for Blender, like plugins, different scripts, and everything that make life easier and that allows to make everything quicker and with better quality. For the programming language, Python, and it is most probably most popular programming language all over the world now. And I would definitely recommend everyone to study Python because it's just used everywhere. It doesn't matter what specialty do you have. Python knowledge could benefit your career significantly. And of course, Substance Designer and Substance Painter are essential tools for authoring texture assets, and overall Substance Suite is just standard in the industry. When developing asset creation pipeline, it is very important to build it modular by the nature so the parts could be reused. First of all, this always looks good because everything is consistent and also makes production more efficient. For example, if you developed a nice edgeware mask in Substance Painter, make sure to add it to the library to use it later on all appropriate surfaces. The goal is to build the library of reusable assets, smart materials, pieces of geometry, textures, etc. And this way, each new asset will follow the style you have and cut the production times with decision you've already done. Here are example of assets I did for my personal project, Death Architect. It includes character work, props, vehicles, weapons. Now we come to architecture. Architecture in game development, architectural assets refer to the 3D models and textures used to create environment of the game. These assets are used to build the world in which game takes place. They can include buildings, walls, floors, ceilings in our architectural elements. Architectural assets are an important part of the game development because they help create an immersive experience for players. They can be used to create realistic environments that look and feel like real-world location, and they can also be used to create fantastical environments that are unique to the game. If you remember games like Elden Ring, Death Stranding, Control, Bloodborne, all those games have very distinctive and prominent architectural style that plays important role in creating gameplay experience. Architectural assets production could be automated because of the nature of the architecture. It it has repeating nature, and we can use it to build assets with a logic and algorithms. Computer generated architecture is a very complex task because it involves the use of computer algorithms to create designs that are often intricate and detailed. The complexity of the design depends on the level of the detail required for the sophistication of the algorithm used. Computer generated architecture is often used also in urban planning, where it help architects and planners to create more efficient and sustainable cities. And of course, it is used in the entertainment industry to create 3D environments for movies and video games. So let's go to the production. So for production of generative architectural game assets consist of these stages. First, we need to define use cases, then write down list of features that are required for the asset. Then we create set of test models in digital content creation software. Then we import assets and create logic. And as a final stage, we just test what we've done. So use cases. How to define? In software development, a use case is a methodology used to review and analyze systems like software platforms. It is a comprehensive description of how system interacts with the environment to achieve a particular goal. A use case typically describes the interaction between external actors and a system serving as a structured means of capturing and documenting the functional requirements of the system. So it is you need to understand how will you use your assets in a game, how user will interact, how artist will work with him, and you need to explore all of this just to make sure that you won't do any unnecessary work for this. You need to consider it very carefully, because if you skip this stage, you just will end up with unnecessary parts developed, or you will miss something and you will have to return and rework something. For example, uh, in game environment, you need to consider how close player will see the asset, and is it possible to enter the building if we speak about architecture. So features. After you define the goal and you understand your use cases, it is possible to pull down the list of features that assets need to have. At this stage, you need to be very carefully, as each layer of features adds a lot of programming works to be done due to the nature of architecture, because all of architectural features are connected with each other. I mean, ceilings are connected with the walls heights, and the doors and windows, they have very specific positions that are placed. I mean, uh, it is not the same as, for example, when you create natural landscape, because players will never notice when the blades of grass intersected. But it will then definitely will be noticeable that the door is over the window, for example. Um, so, for example, as a features, what can we have? We can have, for example, AC units integrated in the building, roofs could be generated, pillars, decoration, fire escapes, and other features that buildings have in the real life. After you're done with the list of features, it's time to create set of models to work with. Features list provide directions for artists to create set of models. It could be done with any DCC of your choice. Models are built with respect of the grid, so they can be connected to each other. Modular set creation is a technique used in game development to create reusable assets that can be combined in a various way to create different levels of environments. The idea is to create small tiling models that you can be easily combined with each other to create larger, more complex environments. This approach allows developers to create levels quickly and efficiently, as they can reuse the same elements multiple times without having to create new ones from scratch. To create modular sets, developers typically use a grid system with unit or matter units. So you need to define what grid you use and stick to it. So now we need to create logic, which is the most complex part. So you have models and you imported them in the engine, and time to create logic. This is careful work of defining and creating algorithms around the feature list you have. And generating architecture is a really fascinating field that combines the principles of generative design and architecture. And it involves using algorithms and computational techniques to create architectural designs that are optimized for specific criteria like aesthetics and technical requirements. So you just work with algorithms to, to support the feature list you have. Next is testing. So when logic is done, you can test it inside your level, and testing game assets is an important part of game development. It ensures that game assets are working as intended and free of bugs. There are different ways to test game assets depending on the type of asset and platform is intended for. There are some general tips to get started. So first, unit testing. This type of testing focuses on individual components of the game, such as scripts, models, and animations. It helps identify bugs early in the development process that ensure that each component works as intended. So then you have integration testing. This type of testing focuses on how different components of the game, in our case, just models and architectural features, work together. It helps identify issues that may arise when different components interact with each other. So the performance testing is also important. This type of testing focuses on how well the game performs under different conditions, such as high traffic or low memory. So I mean, if you need to have a lot of architectural assets, you just populate and test how many can you place and can you, and then you come with conclusions. How can you optimize the algorithms? How can you optimize geometry and everything? So, and the last one, but not the least, is user acceptance testing. This type of testing involves getting feedback from users to ensure that game assets meet their expectations and easy to use. For example, as a technical artist, I pass my assets to the artists, to environment artists, and getting feedback from them. So, so after you completed all these steps, it's done. And now you have generative tools, and you create virtual streets, districts, cities in a matter of minutes. And uh, and as you see, generative architecture in video games requires complex approach that includes all stage of just regular software development. That's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Question: how much of learning Python can help if want to pursue career as an environment artist other than a technical artist?
Oh, it is very important that you do this because, for example, in Unreal Engine, it allows you to have access to modules that you cannot access with blueprints, for example. And you can also do some things that blueprints does not allow you to do inside the Unreal Engine, like a file reading and file writing. So definitely, I encourage you to learn Python as an environment artist because you can just do a lot of things automated, and it will save huge amount of manual work.
I've been using Blender for 3 years, but I see most hiring companies having Maya or 3D Max expertise as a top requirements. What should I do in this situation? Should I learn these programs as well?
I think that you can stay with Blender because the companies, I see the situation changes, and companies started to move to Blender. I mean, in professional work, because Blender, you can always you can import export. So if you do some work in Blender, it always compatible. And there are some new technologies like a 3ds format, 3D, yes, I think 3ds. So, and they allow all the DCC software to be compatible. So if you do something in Maya, you can just import this scene with to Blender, and it has all lights, cameras, everything. So you definitely can continue with Blender. Of course, the knowledge is always better to have some more knowledge. Just, and if you have just a brief understanding how the 3ds Max or Maya work, it will help you also a lot on interviews.
Is it possible to become a technical artist without knowing the code? I am not trying to disregard the importance of coding, but for instance, at Houdini, you can do a lot with the 16 nodes. Of course, it would be better knowing Python, but what be hireable without it? Would you be
Uh,
hireable without it? Yeah.
I think it's not possible to be a technical artist without knowing code, because a lot of technical artist tasks involves work with code. I mean, you just when you do optimizations, you do some material work, you work with shaders, you work with the tools for artists. Probably there are some narrow specialities that just if you do something with a Houdini nodes and you can do all your work with it, but I never met them. So usually technical artists work with code very extensively.
Okay, this is interesting question. I'm struggling finding a good resource for learning those skills required for a technical artist and also pipeline used in studios. Where do you study? What are there any good online programs?
Uh, Actually, I started just by creating things. I mean, when you have a goal of creating, for example, like a small gameplay experience, and you're trying to do this, you will have to face all this. I mean, challenges, and then by bit you need to create like a modeler set, and you understand how it works, and then you need to create like a script that allows you, for example, generate something from this set. So this is just like, I mean, bit by bit you learn something. So I cannot recommend at the moment just like some comprehensive course that will solve everything. So it's just like, I mean, it's quite a long path, but it's interesting. I encourage you to go this.
Question from me, Pavel. How did you become like? How did you start in the industry, and how did this path led you to become a technical artist, and maybe what motivated you?
Oh, I started a long time ago. Just like, I mean, the game industry at all, it was just like a very development. It was the beginning of 2000s, and I started as just a prop artist. I created boxes, different crates, buildings, and characters, a lot of. And then I worked in different companies under different conditions, and I wear all hats that a game developer can. I mean, I created games by myself. I wrote code. I did animations. So just I I collect so huge knowledge. like so I studied engine a lot, and I studied how the code works. I studied programming, and so I mean, and all of these, like it's a very broad skill set that technical artists need to have, and you just need to learn. You need to start.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Pavel. Thank you very much to
Yeah,
being with us
thank you
today.
too. You're a great audience.